Hey crew members, welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew and this edition of Thursday Threads. This week, I'm going to show y'all how I made some little flower pins. These are pretty versatile. So I had made a batch of these for a ladies event at our church. It's just a luncheon for the ladies. And I've been asked to make some as a Mother's Day present for the ladies at a local assisted living facility. And thank you to Anne of Anne's Embroidery, number one, for creating the design, and number two, for giving me permission to highlight this design and show y'all how I use her design to make gifts. Just remember, embroidery machines are not just for, embroidering on a shirt. There are a lot of in-the-hoop projects that are really fun. They look complicated, and they're not. So, we'll be right back. So I have got my design loaded onto Baby. I have this cord that goes from my computer to my machine, and I just hit transfer and there it goes. I've already got it loaded up. One thing I like about Anne's design is if you don't have editing software, well, she gives you a 1er for a 4x4 hoop. There's 4 for a 4x4 hoop, or 6 in a 5x7 hoop. And since I have a large order, I'm going to do the 6 version in the 5x7 hoop. So this is one time when I am not going to use stabilizer. I'm just hooping some felt. You don't have to use felt. You could use some fabric, I think, maybe with a maybe the iron-on applique that will make it stiff and will also make it so it doesn't fray. So I'm going to just put this into my machine. These pins are a 2-step process. So we do 1 for the front. So these flowers will be layered. You're going to have 2. And I have got a pretty blue to go with my blue petals. And we're just going to stitch out the first step. This is only about a 4-minute step here. We're going to let the machine do its thing here and go ahead and stitch out the first 6, and then I will show you what's next. We'll be right back. Alright, so we have got this stitched out, and because I'm making such a large, quantity of them, I like to do all the first step. See here, I've got more done, and I've already got some cut out. I love Henry Ford's assembly process. And by the way, while you're waiting for these to stitch out, you can always just stand next to your machine and do some leg lifts or some walking in place. Go and get some of that exercise going. Stop the sedentary lifestyle of just sitting at your sewing machine, That's what I'm trying to do. So the next step now is you're going to cut these out. Nice sharp pair of scissors. And I find it easier to work with one at a time. That's just me. Okay. So let's cut that out. Try to keep it nice and smooth just around the stitching. And remember, nature is not perfect. And it takes practice. Sometimes I'll go ahead and do a bunch of embroidery up during the day. and then go upstairs with my family while I'm waiting for supper to cook or something, or watching TV, or maybe I'm watching my kids do their schoolwork. And then I can sit and cut. I've been known to take it with me to doctor's appointments. All right. Take it to the library. All right, so that is step 1. Now, let's re-hoop our 5x7 hoop. Let's send over step 2 to our embroidery machine, and let's get started. I'm kind of an assembly line person, so I went ahead and cut out the fabric that I was going to need, the right size. And you just press it down, make sure it's nice and tight. And then there's how you tighten it. And let's take it over to the machine. My first color is going to be the same color that I used to outline these. So, let's go. All right, everything's threaded. And this is about a 9-minute process for doing the second part. So let's just show you a little bit and then we'll move on. Again, I want to give a shout out to Anne of Anne's Embroidery on Etsy. This is a simple, fairly quick little project, but it's pretty cute. We're going to let it finish doing the first step, and we'll be back for the second step. Alright, so the first step is done. Now we are going to take 6 of our first layer, and we are going to lay it down on our project. Kind of positioning it the way you want it positioned. I like to go hill and valley together, but you may like something different. Now here comes the part where you need to be watching. I use just regular old Scotch tape. And I like to get on the inside. That way my needle can just smoothly go over. Edges there. Oh, didn't quite get long enough there. And I have changed the color in my machine to yellow, and now we're going to stitch down the center. Let's go. She actually gives a placement stitch. If you need that, use that second stitch. I'm okay with it to just put it down where I want it, so I skipped the second step and went to the third color. So I have so let's thread our needle. I love that automatic threader. Even when my eyes are a little wonky, I can still get some things done. Alright, so let's do a couple of these so you can kind of see what it does. See how that tape let your needle go smoothly over it without bunching it up or catching that top layer. Now we're going to let it do its thing, and I'll be back to show you the final steps. So it has finished stitching out all 6 of my flowers. They are sewn together and connected. So let's take it out of the hoop. And let's just remove some of the tape. Now, I'm just going to cut one of these out, just like we did the first one. And while you're doing this, you can be heating up your glue gun. Again, with your sharp scissors, I go ahead and try to trim off some of my little threads. And then let's start cutting it out. Without cutting into your stitching. And now we're ready for the final step. Don't throw this away because you're going to need a little piece of it. Show you my glue gun. It's a little dusty. That's alright. This is a Sure Bonder. I really like the fact, number one, it has an on-off switch. I also like the fact that it's got this base, and it's got a little drip place, so if it happens to drip, it's not on my table, on my fabrics, cutting board. And when it's in the base, it's getting charged. When it's out of the base, it's not charged, but it's hot. I really like that one. Using your pin back, make sure all the pieces are there. I have gotten a couple where they're missing something, or they're bent or broken, and that's okay. I buy them by the 100 from Amazon. And I pour out a few, check them over, make sure they're okay. So I'm going to get me a drop of the glue there. Centering up my pin back, making sure it does not get into any of the moving parts. For some extra stabilization, I'm going to put a little bit more here on the top. Again, make sure you don't work the get the glue in the mechanism. Now you're going to take a little piece of your felt. Again, you don't have to. You could sew it down. I like this. Careful with your fingers. The glue is hot. And that is what you've got. You don't have to just use these for pins. These could go on a tote bag. They could go on a towel. You could put these on a headband. You could put these really anywhere. Wherever you want to. The sky's the limit. It's all up to you. So, just another idea for you. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it has inspired you. And I hope that you will come back. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you are aware, you get notified when we have a new video out. Like, comment. We like comments. Be sure to check out Facebook. We do have a beginner sewing group, and it's called Sewing for Beginners. I think we've got 100 and something members now, so I'm pretty excited. And all of these will be on that group as well, and we're going to be talking about how you can use things like this. Don't forget to check out Anne's Embroidery on Etsy. So thank you again, Anne, for 1, making this design, and 2, for giving me permission to make a video of it. And I think all of our ladies at church liked these, and I'm just hoping that the women at the assisted living facility, hope it brightens their day. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next time on Thursday Threads.